Welcome back to my channel, and today we'll be discussing wages, right? Last time we were speaking about profit and loss along with its percentages. So now we'll be moving on to wages under the topic of consumer arithmetic still, right? So wages is a subtopic as well. So now let's proceed. What are wages? Wages is basically the amount of money you make daily or weekly, right? So please note that wages are paid per hour. So you get paid by the hour, right? So when you say per hour now, we can introduce a term called basic rates, right? And simple. Basic rate refers to the amount of money you make per hour. So an example could be $8. That's a basic rate as an example, right? So now we want to introduce another term, and that is called the basic week, right? So the basic week is basically the amount of hours the total amount of hours you are expected to work during a given week. So an example could be 40 hours. And last but not least, the basic wage, right? So the basic wage refers to the total amount of money you get during the week after you have worked, right? So now this is where a little calculation comes in hand, because you already know your basic rates. You get paid $8 per hour. Your basic week, you work 40 hours, right? So for the $40 hours you work, you get $8 per hour for that, right? So now you would want to know how much money totally you'd make. So to do this, you simply multiply the basic rates by the basic week. So that's what you do to find your basic wage, right? So let's calculate. So we have established that the basic rate, right, is $8 per hour, right? So it's $8, and the basic week is 40 hours, right? So now we want to calculate the basic wage. So to do that, as we already mentioned, we'll multiply the basic rate, which is $8, by the basic week of 40 hours, right? So now let's form the equation. So basic wage is equal to basic rate, I'm going to call it BR, multiplied by the basic week BW, right? And that is equal to, the basic rate is $8. So 8 multiplied by the basic week of 40 hours, right? So $8 multiplied by the 40 hours, right? Which will leave us with 8 by 40 is 320. So totally will make $320 as basic wage. So now, to find the basic wage, as we know, you basically multiplying the basic rate by the basic week. That's just it. So let's do an example, right? I'm going to read it out. It says that D plus basic rate is $15 and he works 40 hours a week. What is his basic wage? So let's write down the key terms. We know his basic rate is $15, right? And his basic week is 40 hours. So now what they ask us to do is to find his basic basic wage, right? So we already know when we're finding the basic wage, it is the basic rate times the basic week, right? So we can formulate our equation now. So basic wage is equal to basic rate multiplied by basic week, right? Is equal to basic rate is $15 multiplied by the basic week of $40, which will leave us with $600. So our basic wage is equal to $600. Now let us go to a trickier question, right? One that is a bit more tricky. In this one, where we should find the basic rate instead of the basic wage, right? So I'm going to read it out. Twilight's basic wage is $2,000 and she works 40 hours a week. What is her basic rate? So let's write down what we know, right? Basic wage, right, is $2,000. And the basic week, right, is basic week is 40 hours, right? So now they want to find her basic rate. So if you realize, we normally use to solve for the basic wage, right? But look, we have the basic wage right here. So it's not we're solving for anymore. We're solving for the basic rates, right? So now what we need to do is to divide the basic week into the basic wage to get the answer, right? So to do this, it is so basic rate, right? BR is equal to the basic wage, right? Over the basic week. So now we can plug this into the formula, right? So we know that the basic wage is $2,000. So it is 2,000 over the basic week, right, of 40 hours. So we can punch this into our calculators, right? And 40 into 2,000 goes 50 times. Hence, her basic rate is $50. So now we could do another question. Okay, so the other question says that Mariah's basic wage is $280 and she works 35 hours a week. What is her basic rate? So now let us get calculating. So basic basic wage, right, is $280 and her basic week is $35, right? It's 35 hours, right? Yes, so basic week is 35 hours. And they want us to find her basic rate. So we established to find the basic rate, BR, it is equal to the basic wage over the basic week, right? So now we can plug in what we know into the formula, right? So we know that the basic wage is $280. So it'd be $280, right? Over the basic week of 35 hours. So therefore, punch that into your calculator. 35 into 280 will give us $8. Therefore, she makes $8 per hour, and that is her basic rate. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will do a video on wages with overtime. So remember to like, share, subscribe, and good night.